Hi everyone, it's Carrie from the Wilderness Center. Thank you for joining me for this lesson of Your Wild Classroom. We're going to begin lesson 1 of the soil science module. This class is called Soil and its Layers, and I know that you might be thinking that soil isn't all that exciting, but hopefully by the end of these 4 lessons, you might think a little differently about it. So we'll go ahead and get started. So this is lesson 1, soil and its layers. And the first thing we need to talk about is, what is soil? Soil is not dirt. So it's very important to use correct terms as we go through this scientific process here. So we're going to make sure that we call it soil all the time, because dirt is not soil. Dirt is the stuff you sweep off your floor, you wipe off your face. Soil is the good stuff. It's where the plants grow. So make sure we're talking about soil and not dirt here. If you were able to do the introductory exercise, activity, snack that was included in this packet, hopefully you enjoyed your s'more soil snack, you would learn that soil is made out of 4 different things: rocks, water, air, and organic matter. There's different parts of, different amounts of each of these things, different types of rock that go into soil, and all of these different amounts of things make very many different types of soil. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about layers of soil, not necessarily the types of soil. We'll save that for another lesson. So we've got rocks and water and air and organic matter, and let's start with rocks. How does all this stuff get in here? Because air is, in the air, and water rains. We'll save the organic matter stuff for later. But let's talk about those rocks. How do the rocks get into the soil? Where do they come from? That's important to remember, or important to know. And if you know me, you know that I say that rocks rock. So we're going to be talking about the bottom of our soil profile. Underneath everything else is something called bedrock. And on your screen, you are looking at a picture of, this is Dundee Falls, which is near the Wilderness Center. And you are looking at big, solid pieces of rock. This here is sandstone. And these kids are having a fun time swimming in the little waterfall. But bedrock is solid rock. It's the stuff that if you dig down underneath everything else and you hit solid rock, that's bedrock. Or I love to, when I'm driving down the road, down a highway, and there's big road cuts where they cut into the side of the hill. A lot of times you can see the different layers of rocks that are exposed by that cut. This is bedrock. This is where the rocks in our soil come from. Okay? So it's not like we're adding it. They're actually coming up from the bottom. All right, so once you have the rocks on the bottom, then we start getting into our 4 soil horizons that you guys will be learning about. And it's as easy as knowing your ABCs and O's. So we're going to start with the C horizon, which is the one that's just above the bedrock. And down, if you look at your screen here, you can see there's chunks of rock in there. So this is where the bedrock starts to get broken up, and there's big pieces of rock and things like that, but it's not solid anymore. The C horizon is usually pretty far down, so there's not roots growing in it. There's barely any organic matter, if any at all. And it is the bottom that's starting to come up to the rest of the soil. So above the C horizon is the B horizon. The B horizon is might be called subsoil. You may have heard the word subsoil. And the B horizon is, kind of an in between the C, and we'll get to the A next. So the B horizon will have maybe a few roots that are growing into it. The chunks are a little bit smaller than the C horizon, and there's still not a lot of organic material. But then we get to the A horizon, And you may have heard the word topsoil. So the A horizon is the topsoil. This is some really good soil. This is where plants put their roots. There's lots of organic material in there, lots of nutrients. We still have a lot of minerals from the rocks that come up from the bottom. This is where it's really important to have a nice, healthy soil in your topsoil for your plants to grow. And if you're a gardener, I'm sure you've heard the word topsoil. Okay, so what does this O mean? O is the organic layer or the organic horizon. The O horizon has organic stuff in it. So what does organic mean? I am not talking about if you went to the grocery store and there was a section called organic foods. This is a different kind of the word organic. In this case, the O stands for organic, means that it contains the element carbon. So there's a picture of carbon on your screen there. This is where all the really good vitamins and nutrients come from in soil. Where do they come from? What is this organic matter? This is dead stuff. So think about when a tree falls in the forest. Can you hear it? Or all the leaves that come down in the fall. All of these leaves will decompose, and basically this is the organic matter that goes into the soil to create that O horizon and also give the nutrients to the A horizon, the topsoil where the plants put their roots. So the dead plants are very important. Not just dead plants, but the other growth stuff that's in soil too. There is organic matter that comes from dead animals, worms, poop a lot. I'll just say it. So worms that poop a lot, they add a lot of nutrients and organic matter to the soil. A lot of organic matter makes for a really healthy soil. So when we put all of these horizons together, we call it a soil profile. And it's interesting if you have the opportunity when you're traveling around for your neighborhood, if you can actually look at a construction site. Because in a construction site, they'll often dig down a nice straight line, and you will be able to see all those different layers, all those different horizons of the soil. However, if you are anywhere near a construction site, you've got to be super careful and always ask permission from an adult or the owner before you really start looking around. But there are other places where you can find a real soil profile to study as well. This is a really lovely little stream flowing through a field. And if you take a look at, I'm going to zoom in right there, you can see where the water has cut against that bank. So when that water cuts against the bank, it's exposing soil. Now, this isn't a huge amount of soil that's been exposed, but so you might not be able to see all of the different horizons, but you can certainly find the O horizon and the A horizon. But again, always make sure you have an adult and you have permission to check these things out. I will tell you that there is a place just like that at the Wilderness Center. So if you have access to visit our property there, the Fox Creek Trail, which is across the road from the interpretive building, there's a lot of cuts along that riverbank where you can probably check out some of those soil horizons. Or if you do this project and you don't have access to anything, guess what? Just use an internet search. You can search soil profile or soil horizons, and you'll come up with all these great pictures. Usually they're really easy to find the different horizons in them. So that's another suggestion as you study these things. If you do go outside, like I always say, be careful, learn something, and have fun, because that's just the most important part about learning for me. So that's the end of our first lesson for soil science. So hopefully you've learned a little bit about the different horizons and the layers that form in soil. We'll see you next week.